Good morning, fellas, and welcome back to Me Plays Games. My name is Matt, and as one allows the fused forms of Calyrex to have two abilities at the same time. It combines Calyrex's Unnerve with Glastreer's Chilling Neigh or Spectreer's Grim Neigh. But that got me wondering, what if other Pokemon could use all their abilities at the same time? Normally you can only pick one, but let's see what kinds of chaos would come up if you could have up to three. Alright, let's get started. Azumarill is best known for its ability Huge Power, which doubles its attack stat. Combine that with boosting items like Choice Band or moves like Belly Drum, and it can do a ton more damage than the base stat of 50 suggests. But if it could use all three of its abilities at once, it would get some other helpful benefits. It's got 3 weaknesses, 6 resistances, and 1 immunity, but its other abilities would improve its defensive profile even further. Thick Fat means Azumarill would take half damage from fire and ice moves. Water types already resist both of those, so Thick Fat would make them double resistances. Sap Sipper turns a grass weakness into an immunity, and getting hit by grass moves would boost Azumarill's attack stat by 1 stage as well. So if Azumarill could use all 3 of its abilities, it would get a ton of offensive and defensive benefits. Did you know that Bidoof was once overpowered in competitive play? That probably sounds like a joke, but I'm dead serious. In Generation 5, Bidoof and Bibarel got the new hidden ability, Moody. At the end of each turn, Moody raises one stat at random by 2 stages, and lowers another one by 1 stage. By pairing this ability with Substitute and Protect, Bidoof and Bibarel stats would spiral out of control, since they go up faster than they go down. These moves allow you to stall for a few turns, racking up more boosts before you start to attack, and then you would use attacks like Return and Waterfall. As soon as they got the right boost, they could steamroll through the standard OU tier. Moody ended up getting banned in Gen 5 OU, but they weren't done. Bidoof and Bibarel even tore up Ubers with Moody strats, even though the tier was full of legendary Pokemon. Moody was that broken. So the ability got banned entirely, but we genuinely did live in a world where Bidoof was overpowered, at least for a little while. And Bibarel just happens to have another ability that would pair perfectly with Moody, Simple. This ability doubles the effectiveness of stat changes. Leer normally lowers your defense by 1 stage, but if it hits a simple Pokemon, it'll lose 2 stages instead. But it also works the other way. Howl raises your attack by 1 stage, but 2 stages with Simple. Normally, Moody raises stats by 2 stages at a time, but if Bibarel had Simple on top of that, it would get plus 4 boosts every single turn. So potentially it could max out a stat at plus 6 on just the second turn of a battle. Combine that with Protect and Substitute, and Bidoof and Bibarel stats would fly off the charts unbelievably quickly. They were already OP with Moody. Could you imagine how strong they'd be with Moody on steroids? On top of that, they have another good ability in Unaware, which means their opponent's stat changes are ignored during damage and accuracy calculations. That means they can't break through Simple and Moody boosts by raising their own stats, and they can't even use Double Team to try and dodge Bidoof and Bibarel's moves, because Unaware ignores evasion boosts too. Double Team is banned in singles, but that's besides the point. Unaware Simple Moody Bidoof would be so overpowered it's ridiculous. Duraludon actually has 2 abilities that cancel each other out, Light Metal and Heavy Metal. The former cuts its weight in half, and the latter doubles its weight. So it would just wind up at the exact same weight. Okay, I'm just now realizing this as I'm editing this video, but you mean to tell me that Duraludon, the Pokemon that's a literal building, weighs just 88 pounds? I weigh 2 Duraludons! And it's not even that important a mechanic in Pokemon. Very few moves deal with weight in any way, and the ones that do aren't very common. So Duraludon would effectively only have 1 ability, Stalwart. I genuinely didn't know this ability existed before this video, but it makes Duraludon's moves always aim for the intended target, ignoring redirecting moves like Follow Me and abilities like Storm Drain. So it would effectively have no ability in single battles. Oh well. Here's another combination that I just find fun. Chinchou and Lantern also have 3 abilities, but one of them is Illuminate, which does nothing in trainer battles. Don't worry about that one. Their other 2 abilities are Volt Absorb and Water Absorb. In other words, under normal circumstances, you get to choose whether you're immune to electricity or water. If you check Lantern's Smogon pages, you'll notice it almost always uses Volt Absorb though, and there's a simple reason for that. Lantern is water and electric type, which means that in the long run, it'll take less damage by turning its electric neutrality into an immunity, as opposed to its water resistance. So unless you're playing against your buddy who only uses water type moves, Volt Absorb is the optimal ability. But if Lantern could use all of its abilities, it wouldn't have to make any sacrifices. It would get 2 immunities for the price of 1. Porygon-Z has 3 abilities, and all of them boost its damage output in some way. Download is pretty hit or miss, because it can boost either of your attacking stats. Upon switching in, Porygon-Z checks whether its opponent's physical or special defense is lower, then boosts its corresponding attacking stat by 1 stage. So against a Pokemon like Skarmory, it'll most likely boost your special attack, since Skarmory's special defense is lower. Unfortunately, Porygon-Z can't always take advantage of this ability. Since its special attack is way higher than its physical attack, it pretty much exclusively uses special moves, like Tri-Attack, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt. So if your opponent is using a lot of Pokemon that are more specially defensive, you're effectively playing without an ability, because Download will boost the wrong stat. Another ability it can use is Analytic, and this one's not fantastic either. If Porygon-Z moves last in a turn, its attacks will become 30% stronger. That clashes with what Porygon-Z typically wants to do. Ideally, it wants to attack first, possibly by boosting its speed with Agility or a Choice Scarf, so an ability that rewards her for being slower doesn't work well on this computer duck thing. But its third ability is pretty much always beneficial, regardless of what Pokemon you slap it on, Adaptability. This bad boy boosts Porygon-Z's same type attack bonus from 1.5 times to 2 times, a 33% boost. So this is the ability you're most likely going to want to use. It effectively makes Tri-Attack 160 power, which is nearly as strong as its coverage moves if they're super effective. But what if Porygon-Z can use all its abilities at once? Well, let's just say you get Download to boost your special attack, and for whatever reason you're using the slowest Porygon in the world. With the Download, Analytic, and Adaptability boost, Tri-Attack would be nearly 2.6 times stronger than normal, making it effectively 312 power. For more videos like this, subscribe to Me Plays Games. Channel memberships are also available, so you can support the channel for as little as $2.99 a month. Plenty of Pokemon have multiple weather-based abilities. Some of them set up the weather, some of them provide stat boosts, and some of them heal a Pokemon using them. But since you only get one ability slot, you can't get all your weather benefits at the same time. So let's see what Pokemon would appreciate having multiple abilities in weather. Some Pokemon can set up weather and boost their stats at the same time. Alolan Ninetales has Snow Warning and Snow Cloak. The former sets up Hail or Snow in Gen 9, and the latter boosts your evasion by 20% while the snow is active. If Alolan Ninetales had both abilities at once in Gen 9, it'd be pretty difficult to do big damage to it. Snow boosts the defense stat of Ice types by 50%, and thanks to the move Aurora Veil, Ninetales can double its whole team's defense and special defense. On top of that, Snow Cloak would make every move less accurate, so you might have trouble even hitting it in the first place. There are other Pokemon with multiple snow-based abilities as well. Vanillux also gets Snow Warning, alongside Ice Body, which passively heals it as long as snow is on the field. Alolan Sandslash and Beartick both get Snow Cloak and Slush Rush, the latter of which doubles their speed in the snow. Beartick's hidden ability is Swift Swim, which doubles its speed in rain instead. So if for whatever reason you decided to use snow and rain on the same team, Beartick with all its abilities might be a good choice. It slows Molasses to start out, but doubling its speed allows it to move before pretty much everything else, as long as they're not boosting their speed as well. Slush Rush boosted Beartick is faster than Dragapult. And finally for snow, Glaceon, Vanillite, and Vanillish get Snow Cloak and Ice Body. Some Pokemon also have multiple sand-related abilities. Hippowdon and Gigalith set up their preferred weather with Sand Stream, then thanks to Sand Force, they can also boost the power of their Ground, Rock, and Steel moves by 30%. Gigalith in particular sets up the Sand, boosting its attack and special defense at the same time, since Rock types get a 50% special defense boost in Sand. But the Ground-type Hippowdon will still get plenty of mileage as well. Sandaconda can also set up the Sand with Sand Spit, but the ability doesn't activate till it's hit by an attacking move. It's also got Sand Veil, which provides an evasion boost in Sand, the same way Snow Cloak does in, well, you know, snow. Excadrill has Sand Force as well as Sand Rush, which doubles its speed in sand, the same way Slush Rush does in snow. Since Excadrill is Ground Steel type, Sand Force boosts both of its stab types. The list of Pokemon with 2 Rain or Sun abilities isn't as long though. Pelipper gained access to Drizzle in Gen 7, allowing it to set up the Rain upon switching in. Awesome. Its hidden ability is Rain Dish, which heals 1/16 of its max health every turn a rain is up. If it had both of these abilities, Pelipper would basically be summoning free leftovers from the sky. In the same generation, its pre-evolution Wingull got Hydration instead, which heals status conditions it has if rain is up. Ludicolo would have access to Rain Dish and Swift Swim, the latter of which doubles its speed in the rain. Passive healing on top of that would be a nice bonus. Chlorophyll doubles your speed while Harsh Sunlight is active. Solar Power is basically a more extreme life orb. If a Pokemon has this ability, their special attack is boosted by 50% in the sun, but at the end of each turn, they lose 1/8 of their max health. But Tropius, Sunkern, and Sunflora have access to both of these abilities, so if they could use them at the same time, they get boosted 2 of their stats. They'd still probably be terrible, but hey, all these weather abilities would be especially dangerous before Gen 6, because weather that's set up by abilities lasted for the entire battle. Nowadays, weather always lasts 5 turns by default, or 8 turns if the Pokemon who set it up is holding a specific item. But having unlimited time to take advantage of these abilities would make them even stronger. If Bronzong had access to all its abilities in Gens 4 and 5, it wouldn't have any weaknesses. Steel Psychic is a good type combination, but it was even better before Gen 6. Bronzong used to be neutral to Ghost and Dark instead of weak to them, because Steel resisted both those types up until Gen 5. You know, alongside basically everything else in the game. That leaves only 2 weaknesses, Ground and Fire, and it just so happens to have abilities that cancel both of those out. Typically, Bronzong's ability of choice is Levitate, which turns its ground weakness into an immunity, but it also has access to Heat Proof, which halves the damage it takes from Fire-type moves. That turns its other weakness into a neutrality. It blocks less damage than Levitate does, though, so Bronzong usually doesn't go for Heat Proof. But you might consider using it to bait Fire-type threats into hitting you, because they'll assume you have Levitate. But if Bronzong could use all its abilities, it would have no weaknesses, at least in Gens 4 and 5. Heat Proof also cuts burn damage in half, which is a nice bonus. Its third ability is Heavy Metal, which is whatever. The only other Pokemon with Heat Proof is Rolycoly, but if it could use all its abilities, Heat Proof would be nearly entirely redundant. Not only does it resist fire naturally, but its hidden ability is Flash Fire, which gives it an immunity to fire. On top of that, if it's hit by one, its own Fire-type moves will get a damage boost. This isn't completely redundant though, because Heat Proof also halves burn damage, and Rolycoly isn't a Fire-type, meaning it's not immune to burns like Carkol and Colossal. Getting hit by Fire-type moves also activates its signature ability, Steam Engine. If Rolycoly or its evolutions get hit by a Fire or Water-type move, their speed stat is boosted by 6 stages. Maxing out the stat if their speed hasn't been lowered. So if Rolycoly and company could use all 3 of their abilities, they will get a ton of stat boosts from Fire-type attacks. Well, that's all I got for today. There's plenty of combinations I didn't talk about today, so leave a comment with your own combinations. I'll see you all next time. Good night, fellas. Sleep well.